Hi, this is Tom James with VIP Stable, and today we're going to talk a little bit about staking. Now, as many of you know, stake payments for 2- and 3-year-olds are due during the months of February, March, April, and May. So how do we decide what we're going to stake a horse to, as there's so many events that they're eligible to? Well, let's take a look at one horse in particular here, Just Like Tiger. He's a 2-year-old colt who's eligible to the New York Sire Stakes. As you can see below, there's a list of all the events that Just Like Tiger is eligible to. We get this form actually from a staking service who provides all that information to the subscribers. You can see that this staking form has the event, the track the event will be run at, the purse amount, the starting fee, and then of course the payments that are due: January, February, March, April, and sometimes May. Now, in the case of Just Like Tiger, we're going to, of course, stake him to the New York Sire Stakes and to the Excelsior Series. Now, for the New York Sire Stakes, payments are due beginning in February, $200. There's a sustaining payment that's due in April. These are due on April 15th and February 15th, respectively. So we have to make both payments in order to keep Just Like Tiger eligible to the New York Sire Stakes as a 2-year-old, the $350 payment as well as the $200 payment. In addition, if we want to keep him eligible to the Excelsior Series, we'll make the $125 and the $325 payment. Now, the Sire Stakes portion of this is pretty easy. I think anyone who purchases a 2-year-old is going to stake them to that horse's Sire Stakes program. But beyond that, it starts getting a little tricky. Let's take a look. The next event on Just Like Tiger's schedule would be the Shepherd Eliminations. Well, that runs on July 13th, which is right next to July 10th for the Excelsior Series and the Sire Stakes. So we have to decide, do we want to put him in the Shepherd Eliminations and pay that $250 payment due in March and another one in April? Well, we'd probably pass on that because he's already staked 2 events. Why pay an additional $500 when we already have Sire Stakes events and we want to earn those points in those Sire Stakes events? So I would think we'd pass on that in this case. The Tompkins Gear is an option that's run on July 19th, and that gives you plenty of time after the event on the 10th to go ahead and race in that event on the 19th. That's a $350 payment due in March. As we scroll down, you'll see some other events popping in, starting with the Arden Downs at the Meadows. There's a starting fee due of $400 when you go to race it, and then there's a $200 fee due. Well, there's another possible conflict there because you have on August 1st, you have the Sire Stakes starting again. So that's probably another one we would end up skipping. You go on further down, you can see that we have events on August 1st, the Sires. We can go out to Balmoral and give the Hanover Colt Pace a try. I doubt we'd do that in August. Again, you'd be missing probably the August 1st and August 9th version of the Sire Stakes if you did that. Same thing with the review that appears on the 12th of August. We'd probably pass on that. And, probably the same thing for the Fox Stakes and the Hoosier Stake. Both due in August 14th, because we want to keep our horses racing, in this case in the state's Sire Stakes program. As we move down, we start looking at some of the more prestigious events, such as the Metro Eliminations. Well, that's going to come down to what kind of horse you think you have. Do you have a 2-year-old that you think can race in the Metro? If you do, you're going to have to pay that $500 fee in February and March, April, and in May. In addition to that, you're going to have to pay that big starting fee of $5,000 on the day of the race. So you have to be pretty sure that you have a pretty darn good colt at this point. And that's pretty difficult to do when it's only February. But you look at the pedigree and how much you paid for the horse, how he's training down at this point, and you make that decision. As you continue down, you'll start seeing the other events popping in, the historic series, more Excelsior events, the Metro Final, etc., etc. And you just kind of have to look at the schedule of events, look at the dates that they run, make sure they don't conflict, and move forward as far as how much money you want to spend, and make your decision. As we head down to the really end of the racing season for a 2-year-old, you start getting a few more prestige events, such as the Bluegrass Series in Kentucky in September 28th. But again, it conflicts with the Sire Stakes Final and the Excelsior Series Final. So you've got some questions that need to be answered there. Which one do you want to go to? If you got a Bluegrass Series type horse you think has a big shot at that, you might skip a lot of the Sire Stakes events and just keep your horse pointed towards the marquee events such as the Metro and the Bluegrass Series. As we move a little bit further down the list, you see the Breeders' Crown Eliminations comes into view. That's running October 12th. Again, some pretty substantial payments: $300 in February, $400 in March, $500 in April, $600 in May, plus that big $5,000 starting fee. So that they can eat up a lot of money. But again, if you have that type of horse, then you're going to want to stake them to that. I mean, we buy 2- and 3-year-olds in order to go for these big events, but sometimes it becomes pretty obvious that you don't have enough bullets to go ahead and shoot at something like that. So you'll just keep them in the Sire Stakes and take it a little easy as far as your staking schedule is concerned. As we move a little bit further down the list, there's the Simpson and the American Nationals, and again, you have to decide if your horse is still going to be racing at that time of year. As far as a 2-year-old is concerned, a lot of folks like to turn them out once you hit November and don't want to race them much later in the season. We're going to head on down a little bit further, down to the 3-year-old eligibility section. Now, in this section, you can see some pretty big events: the Adios, the Breeder Sustaining Payments, the Cane Pace, the Cleveland Classic. There's a lot of them. So you have to decide over here, which would be the March payment, whether you want to keep your 2-year-old eligible for all these 3-year-old events. So you can see the payments kind of add up. So you pick your spots. Maybe you pick 1 or 2 or 3, depending upon the type of horse you have. If you go all the way down to the bottom, you can see that just like Tiger is eligible to be nominated to 58 events, with payments due in February of $625, March of $11,425, mainly for a lot of those 3-year-old events. You head on over to April of $5,000 and May of $5,800, plus all the starting fees. So you can see this can add up pretty quickly. So you have to be prudent on how you go about doing this, where you want to stick your horse accordingly. You don't want to miss out any event on any bigger events that he might be eligible to or might be competitive in, but at the same time, you don't want to throw your money away. The events that we select aren't in stone. We, of course, will often put events on our February bills that indicate several events that we're going to stake a horse to in March. But come March 10th or 12th, something happens. The horse isn't training well, or he gets injured, something along that line. So we might pull that horse out of that March 15th stake event. So you might have seen him on your statement, but then we change it and we take him off there later on. And that's pretty much it. Just to give you an idea of how this whole process works. And if you have any questions, just drop us a note, give us a call, and we'll be more than happy to go over with you. This is Tom James from VIP Stable. Hope this helps some. Thank you.